Alright, so for some reason, 100 of you have subscribed to this channel. I really don't know why, but thank you. So let's have a fireworks celebration. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's it. 100 subscribers. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm gonna get right into the 11 story because 80% of my viewers are not subscribed, so you're probably just here to hear about 11 and not me. So I'm gonna talk about a zone that you have probably never been to, if you're lucky anyway. Mordion Jail, or as I used to think it was pronounced, Mordion Gaol, because it's spelled Gaol. I have experience with that zone. I was there 3 times. The first time, there's this little douchebag piece of crap Taru named Kudasai, a name that I'll never forget for multiple reasons. He had a peace ring in his bazaar, and at the time, no one really knew where the peace ring came from. So, I just sent him a PM. I'm like, hey, man, where'd you get that ring from? And he sends me a response, and he says, fuck off, you moron. And I'm like, oh, aren't you a pleasant little piece of crap? I don't like Tarus for the most part. I think I only met about 4 of them that I actually liked over 10 years. It's not that I hate you because you play Taru. It's just that Taru is more than likely a reflection of your personality that I don't like. So, sorry, most of them were pieces of garbage. Right beneath that was Mithra DPS. But anyway, why did I get to jail so many times? Well, I ran my mouth. I always ran my mouth all the time. And, Mordion Jail is nothing special. It looks like Inner Toto ruins, but it's just like 32 rooms that are not connected. There's no windows or doors anywhere. And all you can do is use the say chat. Party is blocked, link shell is blocked, tells are blocked while you are in there. And the first time I went in there, GM was a douchebag. I must say that. GM was a straight douchebag. Because I know that GM call had been sent a while ago, because incidentally, while I was going to King Ranpray's tomb to EXP on my level 74 thief, yes, I was going to fight skeletons as thief. Don't judge me. We had a static party. We all agreed. And saw Kudasai there, and I'm just like, oh, this guy's such a piece of garbage. I hate this guy. So I just sent him a PM, and I was like, hey, what's up, you little piece of shit? And he probably called the GM on me immediately. It took us a little while to get into the deep part of King Ranpray's tomb, where you go behind the invisible wall that leads to the ancient device. That was a place where people camped a lot way back in the day. It was actually a place where a lot of people hit level 75. The second we get into the camp, the second that Anwin casts Protectica 4, and I start seeing it going off, I'm like, alright, I'm going to start pulling, because I know I'm going to get hit by, Shelga as I'm going out to pull. And right as soon as I see the Shelga glyph appear on one person, my screen goes black. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? Did I zone out into Ronfuru or something? What the hell's happening? I don't get it. And then I see the now loading thing in the bottom corner. And it's like, area Mordion Jail. And I'm like, uh-oh. This is my first time, so, I wasn't worried about being banned. I knew I was going to get suspended, though. But I felt really bad, because, that was my static EXP party, and I just ruined our chance of hitting 75 that day, because I had to talk crap to somebody. And then this became a thing with me and Kudasai. Uh, about a week after I get back, I'm doing bodyguard on Paladin for some lower levels in Yatunga Jungle, like right outside the Kazam Gate. And I'm just fighting Goblin Smithies because I don't want them to aggro the pullers, or anyone's puller, really, because those things are horrible. And then this one party starts cussing me out for killing the Goblin Smithies, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to make sure the lobies don't die. Like, why do you have a problem with that? And they're like, well, we're getting power levels and we can pull those. And I'm like, yeah, well, I guess you should pull them before I kill them then, huh? Because I'm not going to let it sit around and kill other people just because you weren't ready to pull it. So, too bad, sorry. And then I noticed their power leveler is Kudasai. Little Tarotaro white mage piece of crap. Hey, Kudasai, if for some reason you ever watch this video, fuck you, you little piece of shit. Fuck you. And then, after I say that to these people, and let this just be a lesson of what kind of power some people wield on the internet, he posts my home phone number in the Say channel. Very quickly. Did not take him too long to, use his tools on PC to get my IP, run some type of trace route on that, and then collect information from my service provider, and then got my home phone number, and then put it in the Say channel, which wasn't a smart thing for him to do, because I called the GM on him for sharing my personal information in a public channel. And then he disappears. And then that party is absolutely livid and pissed off at me. They're like, you called the GM on him, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah, because he put my freaking home phone number in the Say channel. Of course I called the GM on him, you morons. And then he knew from that point, because they told him, that I'm the one who called the GM on him. This continued for probably like a year and a half of just me and Kudasai getting into it with each other. And one very bad day, I was having a very, very bad day. And I was a 25-year-old male, okay? Made of testosterone. That's when the male sex drive is completely out of control. And I was just a very frustrated young man who wanted to take his aggression out on everything that he didn't like. And I didn't like Kudasai. So one day when I saw him, I just slapped him like 10 times. He starts cussing at me in PM. I start cussing at him in PM. And even though he's doing the exact same thing I am, for some reason, he calls a GM on me. And GMs can review entire conversations. So, he pretty much called a GM on himself at that point. The problem was, for me, that was my third time going to Mordion Jail. Or Mordion Jail, or Mordion Gaol. I don't give a crap. Who cares? And the third time I'm there, GM tells me, since this is your third strike, your account is going to be pushed up to a Grandmaster GM. And they're going to decide if your account's going to be permanently banned or not. I'm freaking out. Okay? I've been playing this game for a long time at this point. I had multiple 75s at this point. And I'm just like, oh no. Did I really just destroy everything because I couldn't keep my mouth shut and I had to slap this idiot? Almost. I asked the GM, how will I know whether I am like perma-banned or not? And he's just like, well, after 5 days, if you still can't log on, then you were permanently banned. You can go ahead and log out now. The suspension is in place. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And I thought long and hard about what I did that whole week. Wait until Saturday. I pretty much never sent a tell to anyone again after that, unless it was for a party invite. But the real funny thing is, I never saw Kudasai again after that. So I always have to think to myself now, hold up. Did he actually get himself perma-banned, and then I somehow dodged a bullet? I wonder what else he got up to, because like when I came back, I checked my email and all this other stuff, and the GMs used to send you emails about this sort of thing back then. I don't know if they still do. But they basically were just like, well, because your account infractions are pretty much just bad language and BM, bad manners, your account will be allowed to continue. It has not been permanently banned. And, it's like, I never use speed hacks, never use POS hacks, I never use, like, claim bot tools or anything, because I was on PlayStation 2. I couldn't use any of those things. But, yeah, that douchebag, I'm pretty sure that he self-destructed and blew himself up. But I somehow got to keep playing. So that was my little fun experience of, I had 3 strikes, but I was still allowed to keep playing. Don't talk crap to people in that game. No matter how much they irritate you or how much they piss you off, don't. Just don't. Because the GM will come and wreck your ass. Like, they don't play around about that kind of thing. You'd be surprised. You would think on a game that has a swear filter that it's like, oh, if I'm cussing, it's not that big a deal, right? Because someone, if they don't want it, they don't want to see the cussing, they can just turn the swear filter on. Depends what GM you get, apparently. So yeah, that is my experience with a dickhead GM who literally waited until we were about to start pulling in our EXP party to bring me into the jail. And thankfully, I had a Grandmaster GM who was merciful toward me and let me keep my account because, I was just talking crap to people. But you can't do that. You can't. I finally learned my lesson eventually. But yeah, this is a fun time there. Heck with it. This is a 100 subscriber thing. Let's just talk about Final Fantasy 11. Frickin' Aquarius. Let's bring this back full circle to the very first video I ever did. It was about a red mage who could not solo Aquarius. Now, it occurs to me that I should probably explain. If you play these days, you may be wondering, like, why would you want to solo Aquarius? All he drops is a Francisca. That's all he drops now. He used to drop other things. That's the thing. He used to drop Damascene cloth, D cloth, very, very expensive endgame crafting material. And back then, all it was really used for was a vermilion cloak. Now, I knew how to solo Aquarius as Thief Ninja. With blind bolts, acid bolts, and bloody bolts, it wasn't really that hard. It was, kept you on your toes. But it wasn't hard. It didn't really take that long either. One day, I'm in there. I'm leveling up my parrying skill on my paladin. Pulling Mandragoras. Good thing to level up your parry on. And then I see Aquarius pop, and there's nobody there. There's 3 people in the whole zone. And I'm just like, I wonder if I could fight that thing. Aquarius attacks very, very fast. I'm talking, he's got a delay of like 50. He attacks at light speed. He's got an end water effect that will, smack you around for 90, 100 damage a pop. Aquarius hurts. But I decided, you know what? No one's here. I'm going to pull him out that northeast hallway full of spiders. And I'm just going to zone him repeatedly. Fight him a little bit, zone him. Fight him a little bit, and zone him. But after a while, I kind of start to realize, like, if I start kiting him when he uses a TP move, I think I can just let my Hercules ring and my vermilion cloak that I had on loan from Setsuna. He had just dinged into a noble's tunic a while ago, and he didn't really need the vermilion cloak anymore. So I was like, all right, for sure, I'll just borrow this for a while if you're cool with that. So I had a vermilion cloak, but I had to swap it in while I was kiting. Because I had to tank in, like my Koenig helmet and all that other stuff. And I'm fighting it for about 20 minutes before I realize, like, I need something to to kite it around. Just having no obstacles in the way, I only got enough time to cure 3 myself once, and maybe sometimes get a cure 2 off, and that's not enough. I need more space. I take him down the little drop-off ledge, and there's 3 little rocks with glowing mushrooms coming out of them. And I'm kiting them around there. I'm doing pretty good. After about an hour or so, I realize it's 1 o'clock. Didn't eat lunch yet. I woke up at 10 o'clock and I didn't eat breakfast. Well, I can't back down now. Got him like 15% down. I got to keep going. And I think it was around 4 o'clock or so is when I lost aggro somehow, solo. That can happen apparently. And he starts resetting, and I'm just running after him, spamming my provoke macro. Thankfully, I get claim on him again when I did, because like 30 seconds after I got claim on him, just these 3 groups, all within about a minute of each other, level 66, going to fight steel shells and processionaires and dart flies. They all stop, and they're like, yo, there's a paladin something warrior fighting Aquarius. This guy's gonna die. He's at half HP the whole time, so my Hercules ring can work. They figured I was gonna die and could barely maintain my MP. I had plenty of MP. They sit there, watch me for a little bit, and then these 2 link shells show up on the ledge. One one's got like tourmaline link shell, the other one's got a deep purple link shell. And that was when it got really stressful to me, because I'm like, all right, I need to start using provoke. Apparently, solo, I have to provoke this freaking thing, because it hits me for so much that I'm losing my cumulative enmity, and my damage is so low, I have no volatile enmity. I have to use provoke for that 7,000 VE. Otherwise, I'm going to lose claim on it, and one of these vulture groups is going to steal it from me. So, around 5 o'clock, after watching me do it for an hour, one of the link shells leaves. And I think like 6 other people from the purple link shell stayed. And they only stayed for about another half hour because they realized this guy's not going down. He's taking so long to fight it that it could have respawned by now, probably. But whatever. Aquarius actually used to be like a 5 to 8 hour respawn. He's a 1 to 2 now because he doesn't drop Damascene cloth anymore. But that's the way it was back then. Heavy competition for Aquarius, of all things. 6 o'clock rolls around, and it's at 10%. And I start making mistakes. I start making dumb mistakes. I'm constantly dropping down to like 150 hit points. Like, one more hit and I'm dead before I'm barely getting away. And I'm so hungry that I'm just not thinking correctly anymore. I have to pop invincible, and then I just start freaking out, and I'm like, okay, I need to just recover. Just provoke and cure, provoke and cure. Hit him like 3 times, provoke and cure. Because at that point, I didn't trust my timing anymore, because I was like getting delirious basically, and I was worried that I was going to screw up and he was going to peg me out. Like, well, he's got like a sliver of health left. So I started fighting him pretty slow at that point, very, very cautiously. The other link shell leaves. There's no one else there no more. And in the end, I managed to beat him solo. I probably would have preferred doing it without popping invincible. But the whole time I'm doing this, I had a system where I have to leave Defender up. And occasionally when I have enough TP for a weapon skill, otherwise I had to use Red Lotus Blade for 90 damage, because back then we had Savage Blade and Swift Blade, and that was like it, past Vorpal Blade. There wasn't really a lot of good sword skills. And again, because I had to be under 50% HP for my Hercules ring the whole time, Spirits Within was out of the question. Red Lotus Blade was actually doing more damage. But occasionally, every 5 minutes, it was pop Sentinel, cancel Defender, activate Berserk, hit it with a Vorpal Blade, cancel Berserk, reapply Defender, and start running again. every 5 freaking minutes, I had to do that in that exact order and not screw up. So I finally beat it around like 8 o'clock. Didn't get a damascene cloth. But yeah, I sold Aquarius as Paladin Warrior for 8 consecutive, godforsaken, mind-breaking hours. And that's my favorite accomplishment that I ever pulled off in that game, because it was stupid and should not have been possible. I didn't have a Parade Gorget. I didn't have W legs. I didn't have any of that good stuff. This is before Paladin even had auto refresh. So, you know, while I'm kiting, I have to put that Vermilion Cloak back on, just for the MP sustain. That was an adventure. And then Setsuna, he felt so bad that I didn't get a D-cloth. He bought me one. Because he was a rich white mage. He taught me his method, and I will teach you that method, because if you've watched 20 minutes of this video, I'm going to teach you a guild-making tip. You love a white mage, right? You get the teleport spells. Home point in Juno, so you can warp back there. And anytime you see someone offering for a teleport, send them a PM and offer it for 100 gil less than they're willing to pay. Because they're going to get 4 or 5 PMs of people who are like, yeah, sure, invite me. Yeah, sure, invite me. Yeah, I'll teleport you. But then when they see that one that's like, yeah, I'll teleport you there for 900 instead of 1,000 gil, they'll pick it up every single time. You know, 1,400 instead of 1,500 for an Altepa or a Zarkobard, you know, whatever. Always offer for 100 gil less. You'll always be the one who gets the teleport. It was bank rolling with teleports. That's what he did all day. And I eventually got another damascene cloth from a KS30, I believe it was. And then I'm like, I'm one away. I'm just going to buy the other D cloth and have Laces craft it for me. So that was how I eventually had my signed Vermilion Cloak from a friend of mine. And yeah, look forward to more content like this in the future. Just long form talking about the game in general and just whatever, I guess. Because me and a friend of mine, we've been talking a lot lately about Final Fantasy XI, and we were just like, you know, we could just like record our calls to each other and basically just turn this into a podcast about Final Fantasy XI. So we are currently working on that. You know, writing not necessarily a script, but like talking points for episodes. So it won't just be me and him talking about guns and swords and knives and food and anime, you know, because that's basically what we're going to talk about if we don't have like talking points. So, you know, we got that in the pipe works. We're setting that up. So if you're interested in just, you know, hearing about the game back then, both of us played in those OG days. He actually started playing like a year before me even, so he has more old school knowledge than I do. I mean, he was playing the game when people were trying to figure out, is Samurai a tank? Like, everyone thought Samurai was going to be a tank at first when it was like a brand new job. And everyone thought that Ninja was just like a DPS with debuffs, which is, as far as I'm aware, that's what it was intended to be. But we kind of turned Ninja into a tank, and Square did all this stuff to try and stop and dissuade people from making Ninja be a tank, but everyone just kept turning it into a tank no matter what they did. Until like this one fateful day where they started adding Ninja only JSC that had Enmity Plus on it, and it's like, you finally caved. You finally caved to the player base. They want Ninja to be a tank. So, yeah, look forward to all kinds of just little tidbits of Final Fantasy XI history, because that's basically what we're going to talk about on there. And thank you for your time. I'm going to talk about myself a little bit here. Why did I start this channel? Why did I decide to start talking about a 20-year-old game? That's part of my therapy, actually. I was my dad's primary caretaker for most of the time that I played 11. He had a brain tumor, multiple sclerosis, and late onset type 2 adult diabetes. And all the while that I'm my dad's caretaker, Um, this is post 9/11 America. I have olive skin, and if you looked at the beginning of this video, you've seen my hair is actually brown, not black, but you can only really tell in sunlight. And the primordial Karens around here. I live near LA. I'm just gonna say that. No one's ever heard of the place I live. It's near LA. Most celebrities who work in Hollywood actually live in this particular place because it's way cheaper than Beverly Hills. And a lot of the really, crazy, like 3-story mansions that they live at, my dad actually built those back in the day. He was a general contractor. Well, I mean, he joined the Marines, and then he was a lumberjack, and then he was a general contractor and a cabinet maker. But yeah, we built a large portion of this city over the years. Commercial buildings, YMCA's, churches, houses, redoing all the rich people's houses down by the golf courses and everything, and it was really difficult for me to see my my superhero dad become bedridden and become incapable of doing anything on his own. So Final Fantasy XI was a big escape for me, and that's why I played it so much. But also, like I said, post 9/11 America, I was Taliban. I was a terrorist to everyone who saw me, basically. For about 7 years, I had 1, 2, 3 black and whites roll up on me while I was walking around my neighborhood, walking down to the movie theater area where the grocery store is and the gas station to pick my pack of the Jaron Blacks and a Monster Java. During the worst of it, during the worst 4-year period, I had, I think it was 30 guns pointed at me. One time it was from FBI agents who they explained to me that they received a call that a suspicious individual was putting a shotgun under their trench coat before walking into the gas station. And yeah, I'll just share this. I don't care. I smoked a lot of weed back then, and I happened to have been super effing high when this happened. I wasn't thinking. At this point, I was irritated by the amount of guns and tasers that I had pointed at me all the time. I actually stopped being scared of it. So, while their guns are still pointed at me, okay, I reach into my freaking breast pocket and pull out my iPod. It looked like I'm reaching into a holster to pull out a gun. They had every right to frickin' start opening fire on me. Thank God they didn't. But being a smartass that I am, I showed them my iPod, and I'm just like, I think the only thing I got in here, it might blow your head off, is some Led Zepp. You like the Zoso album? Because I'm listening to Stairway right now. I actually did that, okay? Swear I actually did that. No bullshit. I was that stupid. Maybe now you understand why I got into Mordion Jail so many times. But that was my life back then. Taking care of my dying father and having guns pointed at me because of the way my skin and my hair looks. So Final Fantasy XI, the heartless bitch queen that it is, wants to take your EXP away and make you waste your time forever. That was my happy place. That was a better place than what I was going through at the time, because this was after I had gotten out of the military and I didn't really have any direction in my life, so I just played Final Fantasy XI all the time. And that's kind of why I have so many memories about the game, is I spent a lot of time playing it. And, like I said, it was part of my therapy, is look back on all those really bad, horrible, negative, traumatic times in your life and just fixate on the positive, good things that occurred back then. And, I told him, I'm like, well, I mean, I can try to do that, but I don't really know how. And they, just told, just talk about something that you're really passionate about, And at first, I was actually gonna make this a channel about creative writing and how to write books and how to get into writing books and all that, because that's another thing I'm very passionate about. It was that or cooking. I've been cooking since I was like 8 years old, and I absolutely love to cook. You know, I've studied all kinds of like Japanese and Thai, Vietnamese, Korean, Italian, Mexican cooking techniques and that sort of stuff. And I'm actually probably going to start a cooking channel at some point here because it is something I'm really passionate about. But the main thing was Final Fantasy 11, and I was just like, I'm going to do like the Hell's Kitchen confessional camera thing, like on reality television. But I'm just going to talk about Final Fantasy 11. So, that's all this was going to be. It just existed as part of my therapy and, try and help get my confidence back up, where it's like, hey, are you confident enough to put this out there in public and have people judge it, basically? So that's all I was ever intending on doing with this. I didn't care if anyone ever viewed it. I didn't care if anyone ever commented. I do read every comment, just point that out. When YouTube actually notifies me of a comment, it doesn't always. I apologize if I've ever missed one of your comments. YouTube is a piece of shit. It doesn't always tell me when y'all comment. Like, even in the YouTube Creator Studio, it doesn't always tell you. So, sorry about that. But I do read as many comments as I'm able to. Because, I don't know, it matters to me. Like, I started doing this thing just, like, for the hell of it. And, we're at a point now where there's people telling me, like, straight up, it's not guesswork on my part, that they want to hear about the way the game used to be, and that they enjoy hearing about where it was and how many quality of life changes that brought the game to the current state it's at now. So, that's been a really cool thing to see, and I just really appreciate everyone's time who's willing to hear me out and listen to this dumb crap. It feels like it validates those dark times in my life that it's like, I always thought to myself, I'm like, why do I just play this game all the time? Why do I do this? Well, I mean, all the memories now, I guess they feel like they have some value now. So that's neat. That's cool to me. So, again, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. And have a good internet, I guess.